co-host Jean, who is sitting across from me.
It was absolutely, it was one of those things that I had, and I'm like, okay, I have to have more of this. I need to seek this out and get more. It was just really phenomenal. And I appreciate you being part of that. I mean, it was a world record day.
Definitely was. It was fun. It was a great way to, kind of again just promote yourself, and had a great opportunity. And I just wanted people as one of the girls that I came across there, also she just put it out strictly fresh, which is the way that I portray that. It's like you're gonna make it yourself, but it's also a technique of how I was taught, and how much it's cooked, and just keep it basic, simple with the extra virgin olive oil and the salt, and then just dipped, basil dipped, and that's it. That flavor, the sweetness comes down to, though. You gotta understand. Now I finally have my own named tomato. It's called the Il Russo, and it's an Amish-grown Summerzano tomato. So the Amish people I hooked up with particularly grow this tomato for me. It's a Summerzano, which Italians use only Summerzanos to make their sauce every year in Italy. So that's why I figured, let me get this going on here from Amish soil, which they are the best farmers in my book of today. They're the only ones that do it old school, and you can't get any better than that.
No, you can't get any better than that, especially on, this area too, because they've, as you said, they've been doing it for years, growing, fresh produce, and you have it delivered. And if I recall, you have a large quantity of tomatoes that are currently growing. And why don't you tell our listeners what's available to them as soon as that's, ready for the picking?
So pretty much going into August is kind of like the peak time when the tomatoes ready. So we're looking at thousands of pounds of tomatoes. Majority is used for my own jars that I make. But then also there's a lot of sauce makers out there that don't get the specific Summerzano tomato. You really can't buy it at a store that much quantity that you need in order to jar sauce every year, because people always do like 50 to 100 to 200 jars, for their own home. But of course, I also make it for people that don't make the sauce, don't have the time to do that. So I have it pre-ready for them. It's sealed, heat sealed, so there's no preservatives. Besides, the Amish do not put anything in their, no pesticides. Everything's naturally grown. So I get that also, part of the experience of having a fresh sauce, natural, everything about it. It's just healthy. It's strictly healthy and fresh.
And there's a lot of love in it too, because you did grow up learning how to make this with your mother.
Right.
So,
definitely, I owe it up to her for sure. It's a big part. You got to have good teachers in life.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah. Now, speaking of experiences, I want to touch on the fact that you have some other things going on in the works outside of just the sauces that you're creating.
Yes. So definitely, hopefully in the near future. I'm not sure exactly. My thoughts were always like a place. I would love to have something that gives people the experience of being in Italy, authentic. Just keep it simple between things with my sauce or paninis, cafe, all those spuntinos as I call them, very very small things that you can come there. But the main thing to me is going to be the experience and the hospitality and that culture that you need to get once you get in there in this place, let's say, and people are just going to be like, wow, I feel welcomed. I feel like family. That to me is very important. So that's kind of like part of the continuation on what I'm doing now to build, this brand, my Da Vinci Salsa Calabrese, and just slowly get to that point of for also people to come to a place. Besides, I will have like the tomatoes available if those that are sauce makers, they can direct message me. I bring them tomatoes if needed, which I've done that in the past. The old little Italian ladies want the Summerzano tomatoes, so I bring them tomatoes. There's going to be markets that will have the tomatoes available, and also the jars. Eventually, I'll have it out there. If you follow through me, On Instagram and Facebook, you'll find me with Philly Da Vinci. It's an easy way, hashtag Philly Da Vinci. You can find me and get in contact with me, and you'll see what I can offer for you.
And, that's definitely a great offer, like, especially, we touched on experiencing, you had said that you want to bring the experience of Italy to Philadelphia. We touched on the experience on how Americans eat versus how, everyone else in the world eats. And everyone else seems to slow down and take their time, and it is an experience, and
Right.
you speak about family. And so what when you're creating these sauces, what is your favorite sit down family meal that you utilize the sauces that you create?
Pretty much. I mean, the majority of the time, for time-wise, things are basic. We love marinara style. Just you want to just taste that freshness of tomato. But again, what I make is the base. So you can make an amazing lasagna that we make with. We actually make it with the meat, but of course you don't have to make it with the meat. You can make it with the ricotta and stuff like that. But I'm a big fan, of my mother though, when she always made the lasagna with the ground, good meat, and then our sauce. Just what tops it off is our sauce, and then of course if you use a great cheese like Parmigiano Reggiano, you can't beat that. So you're gonna get those authentic Italian flavors. Like when you go to Italy, you got to go to those small towns and get that experience. You know what I mean? I know there's not nice restaurants, this and that, but the bottom line is when you go to small towns and you go to like a house and then just go to this little old lady that's making the pasta from scratch at home, and then when you taste that sauce, that's what I want you to have. I want that experience for you.
And I would love to have that experience again because, I tasted your sauce, and I normally am like more of a tart sauce lover. But I have to say, for the fact that it's a sweeter sauce, it has a lot of flavor. As you said, it's fresh. You can taste that freshness, from taking a mouthful. Essentially, that's kind of what I did. Is I took a mouthful of your sauce. Yeah, and it was a lovely like mixture of the sweet, in with the tomatoes, and it just the way that you balanced everything and the acidity of everything, that was absolutely delicious. And I
Thank you, dear.
yeah, I 100% want to grab a few jars, and actually there's some people I would love to introduce your sauces to them because
Awesome.
it's wonderful. And yeah, as you said, it's going to be on some storefront locations soon, but where can they find your sauces for purchase right now?
So pretty much just basically through Instagram, they DM me. Believe it or not, I'm like the milkman. I now became the sauce man. So believe it or not, there's customers that I have leave their money. They leave like cash underneath their rug, and I have cases. Like when I say like their rug, their mat in front of their doorstep. You know what I mean? They leave their money in there underneath, and I leave them the case of sauce for them. And when they come home, it's like the milkman. Like back in the day, you know how the milkman, way back in our time, the milkman used to drop off the tomato, the milk. Now here I am doing the sauce, man. I come directly to you. So if you go directly on Instagram, you can follow me as a Philly Da Vinci, and then also same thing with Facebook. You can go under my Facebook page, particularly for that is Da Vinci Salsa with a Z, Salsa Calabrese, and that's pretty much you go directly to me. You'll be before you know it, I'll be at your house with the freshest